Well, I was living in California. I lived in the Bay Area for about 10 years before moving here, and I was in the natural foods business. And we came to Hawaii to come to a health food convention that was in Honolulu. While I was here, I visited my friend here on the Big Island, and she invited me to stay for a week here. And I just fell in love with the place. When I moved to Hawaii, which was 40 years ago in 1985, we sailed from San Francisco to Hilo Bay on a small wooden sailboat with no motor and only celestial navigation. When I first started coming out to Puna, I really felt at home there and met a lot of friends, and that really became my home. And that's where I laid down roots. After a few months in Hilo, I moved to a place called Wawa in Lower Puna, where I lived for 15 years. It was during that time that I was a sales rep and then eventually started the first Island Naturals. At one point, me and a few other folks would talk about wishing there was more activity in Pahoa, especially with regards to music and fun things to do. And along with a couple of other people, we started the second Saturday music and art walk in Pahoa. It was kind of a takeoff on First Fridays in Hilo, and we used our parking lot in the Pahoa store to host a band once a month on second Saturdays, and my band with Terrapin Station has played there quite a few times also. I think one of the most interesting and certainly most stressful times in terms of my time in Pahoa was during the 2014 lava flow. Although it was the 2018 one that did a lot of damage in Puna, the 2014 one was psychologically very difficult. We watched the eruption come down the hill very slowly and inexorably. It just got closer and closer to town, and all the projections looked like the road would be cut off at one point. And the same thing was true for the store. We didn't know if we'd be able to run the store if the lava crossed the highway. I remember one day when it turns out it was a pile of tires just across the highway that the lava had reached and sent up a huge cloud of black smoke. And it made it look so close. It looked like it was imminent. It looked like, okay, this is the day it's gone across the highway. Ultimately, that lava flow stopped about, I think it was 1,000 feet from Main Street in Pahoa and just stopped. Right around that time, we had a devastating hurricane, so our worries switched from lava to hurricane. But that was a very interesting time, and you could see the stress on people in Pahoa at that time. But we survived it, and I'm happy to say the story is still there, and we kept on running it all through that. So for a while, I was, a sign-carrying protester, and I'd occasionally write letters and make phone calls to legislators. And it came a point where I decided to try to run for office. First, I ran for county council twice, back around 1990 and 1995, unsuccessfully. I did not win either of those elections. And then there came a time where they had redivided the Big Island into four state Senate districts. And the one that Puna is in had no incumbent state senator. So I was able to win that seat, and I was state senator for 8 years from 2012 to 2020. Being here for both two lava flows and a hurricane, that became a big focus for me. I was, state senator from Puna after the hurricane devastated Puna in 2014. And I, did a lot of work on trying to represent my community in that regard too. And there came a point where spending so much time away from home, while I had a young child at home, and also realizing I wasn't getting that much progress, the balance sort of shifted of whether it was worth my time and effort there. And I decided to retire from politics. I didn't lose an election. I just chose not to run again in 2020. That also was the year that the pandemic broke out and traveling seemed a little scary. And it just seemed like it was time to come back home.